Hey kids, this morning we're going to be reading The Seed and the Giant Saguaro. And it looks like such a pretty book. It's written by Jennifer Ward. It's illustrated by Mike K. Ranger. And today I want you guys to focus on what happens in the desert. All these different characters come into play. And I want you to pay attention to what they're doing and what different kinds of plants you see while we're in the desert, okay? This is a giant saguaro. Remember we learned about cactuses last week? This is the fruit that grew on the giant saguaro. This is the pack rat that ran in a hurry and carried the fruit with a great deal of worry that grew on the giant saguaro. This is the snake that slid with no sound that trailed the pack rat that ran in a hurry and carried the fruit with a great deal of worry that grew on the giant saguaro. This is a bird that raced on the ground, that chased a snake that slid with no sound, that trailed the pack rat that ran in a hurry and carried the fruit with a great deal of worry that grew on the giant saguaro. Here's the coyote that quickly dashed, that followed the bird that raced on the ground, that chased the snake that slid with no sound, that trailed the pack rat that ran in a hurry and carried the fruit with a great deal of worry that grew on the giant saguaro. These are the clouds that rumbled and flashed above the coyote that quickly dashed, that followed the bird that raced on the ground, that chased the snake that slid with no sound, that trailed the pack rat that ran in a hurry and carried the fruit with a great deal of worry that grew on the giant saguaro. This is the rain that tumbled down, that came from the clouds that rumbled and flashed above the coyote that quickly dashed, that followed the bird that raced on the ground, that chased the snake that slid with no sound, that trailed the pack rat that ran in a hurry and carried the fruit with a great deal of worry that grew on the giant saguaro. Look at how pretty that is. And look at all the different cactuses, right? Remember, we learned that cactuses don't always look the same. Some are really small, some are really big. So we've got a bird, we've got snake, we got a coyote, we got a mouse. We got the fruit from the saguaro tree. The saguaros are the really big ones. Rain happens in the desert, not that often, but every once in a while it rains, and it looks like it rains really hard because there's lightning. This is the earth all moist and brown, soaked by the rain that tumbled down, that poured from the clouds, that rumbled and flashed above the coyote that quickly dashed, that followed the bird that raced on the ground, that chased the snake that slid with no sound, that trailed the pack rat that ran in a hurry and carried the fruit with a great deal of worry that grew on the giant saguaro. All right, so here's the fruit. All those little black things inside, what do you guys think those are? You think maybe those are the seeds and it popped open and there's going to be lots more saguaros? All right, let's check it out. These are the seeds so black and tiny that sunk in the earth all moist and brown, soaked by the rain that tumbled down, that poured from the clouds that rumbled and flashed above the coyote that quickly dashed, that followed the bird that raced on the ground, that chased the snake that slid with no sound, that trailed the pack rat that ran in a hurry and carried the fruit with a great deal of worry that grew on the giant saguaro. And this is a cactus new and spiny that grew from the seed so black and tiny because of a pack rat that stole the fruit, that dropped the seed, that slowly took root. Okay, you guys know what that is? That's a scorpion. What about that guy over there? That's a centipede. They're both bugs. So the pack rat stole the fruit, and the fruit popped open, all the seeds bursted out, and one of them got stuck in the ground, and it grew into a baby saguaro cactus. And grew into a giant saguaro cactus. Okay, so this is how they grow. So when they're 2 inches tall, they're 10 years old. When they're a foot and a half, they're 20 years old. When they're 35, they're 6 feet tall. And they start to blossom with flowers. When they're 15 feet tall, they're 70 years old. Whoa. Let me go to the book down a bit. When they're 20 feet tall, they're 100 years old. And look at this. Look how big this one is. This one is 30 or more feet tall, and it's over 150 years old. Awesome, huh? Okay, remember today you're focusing on what you saw in the desert. So the different animals, the fruit, and the cactuses, okay? All right, kiddos, that's it for today. So have a good day, okay? Bye.